Nerdrotic.com.
The BBC is going to tell us why the Odyssey has caused so much controversy. I mean, I could make this a very short time of it. Black Helen of Troy and Elliot Page. Thank you. Good night.
Nerdrotic.com. Please subscribe.
Why the Odyssey has caused so much controversy from the BBC. Christopher Nolan's adaptation of Homer's. Why am I blanking on her name? The Emily Wilson. That's the other reason. Christopher Nolan's adaptation of Homer's ancient Greek epic starring Matt Damon and Zendaya and many more is the most anticipated film of 2026, but also the most contested. Here's why. Christopher Nolan's last film, the Oscar-winning Oppenheimer, was about the invention of the atomic bomb and the ethics of killing tens of thousands of civilians in a global conflict. All things considered, he must have thought his next film would be a lot less controversial. After all, the Odyssey is based on Homer's ancient poem. Well, what's it happened. It was history. I think he handled it pretty well, to be honest with you. After all, the Odyssey is based on Homer's ancient poem about warriors and kings, gods, and monsters. What is there for anyone to grouse about? The height of Polyphemus the Cyclops? The wood used to make the Trojan horse? Well, maybe not. But you know what? No. There's some history bros who will fucking... Yes. Yes, that will get brought up. But it turns out that people have groused about pretty much everything else. The Odyssey releasing in July, or it's going to be released in July, whatever, has become the most contentious film of the year, a lightning rod for all kinds of political and cultural grievances. What is about a swords and sandals fantasy epic that is so upsetting? Before you get started, BBC, I'm sure I can find a BBC article where they talk about whitewashing. I'm pretty sure. And there's this thing that I like called consistency of argument. Not perfect at it, but consistency of argument. Just, being honest. So all of a sudden, it's not going to be a big deal if they race swap anybody. And by the way, the Lupita Nyong'o thing and the Elliot Page thing are so bad that people are kind of overlooking Zendaya. Much of the grumbling has consisted of conservative fears that the film might be too liberal. We just want the story to be told. Homer's Odyssey is not a conservative story or a liberal story. It is a story that should be adapted to the spirit of the source material. It is the liberals, Emily Wilson, who slanted the translation to liberalism and progressivism. Not everyone approved when Nolan hired transgender actor Elliot Page and rapper Travis Scott. Oh yeah, there's that, to play so far unidentified male characters, and the poet, I want to say this right, Demodicus, Bigasticus, respectively. People have also objected to his choice of a black actress, Lupita Nyong'o, to play Helen of Troy, described by Homer as white-armed. Wolfgang Petersen's Homer adaptation, Troy, to the loosely inspired by the Iliad, didn't have a vocal fan base years ago, but recently it's been held up by some of the social media as superior to Nolan. Well, we can't say it. We haven't seen it. I like Troy, the director's cut. I don't love it, but I like it. At least it's casting of Brad Pitt as Achilles and Diane Kruger as Helen of Troy. Who's hotter? One right-wing blogger, Matt Walsh, declared that Nolan had cast a woman of Kenyan heritage as Helen because he was afraid of being called a racist. I don't think he's afraid of being called a racist. I think he's just reinforcing his beliefs. He didn't offer evidence of Nolan's supposed fears, and indeed, the vast majority of the cast is white. But that didn't stop Elon Musk chiming in with his agreement. Some on social media in response accused Walsh and Musk of being bigoted. Others took a more scholarly approach. Professor Daniel Mendelssohn, or whatever, whose translation of Homer's poem was published last year, said that the UK's Hay Festival in May that he was amused by all of these bros suddenly worrying about Greek culture. Well, the Greeks are worried about Greek culture. And it's not just Greek culture. It's culture. It's culture. It's replacing somebody else's culture with something when it's not okay to do it the other way. Because, Professor Daniel Mendelssohn, or whatever, I'm sure you're the kind of person who believes in cultural appropriation. Well, how is this not cultural appropriation? Hollywood is the best at cultural appropriation. According to the report in the Telegraph, Mendelssohn, or whatever the fuck his name is, what's so funny is that Helen has the tiniest role in the Odyssey, so the debate is particularly silly. Not really. Not really. Oh, they're like, oh, it's silly. It's no big deal. It's no big deal, but wait until they find something they care about. But he proposed that Nwango's casting was a consonant with the concern of the Troy myth, which is how to think about beauty. Wow, that's kind of insulting to her, don't you think? We rethink beauty with Lupita Nyong'o. I think Nolan's choice of this very beautiful actress who happens to be African lands squarely in the middle of a very old discussion. I'm sure you can rationalize it. I watched Tolkien scholars rationalize black elves. In Elle magazine, Nyong'o gave her own pithy response to the attacks. This is a mythological story. Our cast is representative of the world. A mythological story that she knew nothing about, despite having a degree in arts from Yale. Never heard of the Odyssey. I wonder whether we have become inclined to treat mythological material as though it were historical material. No. But if you are going to adapt the story of the Anansi, and there's a single white person in that adaptation, they would lose their fucking minds. Another point, modern mythology, Black Panther, T'Challa. There was a rumor that Aaron Pierre was going to play T'Challa, and Black Twitter lost its fucking mind because he's too light-skinned. So I went down that rabbit hole, and I found out there's a term called colorism, because it's not racism. Only white people can be racist. It's called colorism. It's when the brothers and the sisters out there were like, he ain't dark enough. And you know what? I agree with them. I agree. Make it look like T'Challa. I 100% agree. Brothers too light skin. Accuracy, it matters. So it does matter. So it doesn't matter, and then it does matter. And as I've always said, if it doesn't matter, then just keep it white, because it doesn't matter. The film has become a target because of blah, 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 right wing, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to save that for later. I'm definitely putting a pin on that one for my review, or maybe a video that come out before my review, because it's going to be a shit show, because there's going to be the cultural aspect, there's going to be the history aspect, and then there's going to be the Nolan fans. And you are going to find out that the Nolan fans are just as passionate, if not more, than the Snyder fans. Oh, you're about to find out. You are about to find out. I don't worship at the altar of Nolan. I like him. I like a lot of his movies. And even the ones I don't like, I can appreciate as good cinema. Like, well-crafted, well thought out. I don't think the guy's a hack. Overrated in some aspects. Very much so, I believe. Yes. I think his films are a bit sterile at times, and they lack levity. Like, they're very serious and pretentious. Really pretentious. Exceedingly pretentious at times. So people walk out going, well, I just understood Interstellar more than you. That makes me smarter. And you know what? I know this is going to be a weird comparison, but it's true. Rick and Morty fans. You're like, I kind of like some Rick and Morty stuff. Thought it was a little funny, but then it went on too long. And Rick and Morty fans were just like, well, this is comedy for smart people, and you're obviously not smart. It's like, oh, wow, I'm not smart enough to get Rick and Morty. Wow. Okay. Please tell me how the Szechuan sauce unlocks the mysteries of the universe. Oh, high-minded one. Mensa. But yeah, it's going to be super fun. It's going to, yeah, I like it when there's a lot of debate, and they're going to try to make it just about the culture. And it might be that, like, I might sit down and watch the movie and go, man, I really fucking hated Black Helena Troy and Elliot Page, but I liked everything else. That's totally a possibility. I'll see it and tell you what I think. I don't know what to think of it now. Based on the trailers, I'm not like through the roof excited. I'm actually, and like when it all plays out, I could be completely wrong about this, and I'll freely admit it. But I was more fired up by the Spider-Man trailer than the Odyssey trailer, to be honest with you. And I'm not, as you know, not some super duper Tom Holland fan. As a matter of fact, the EFAP audience still reminds me that they don't like my take on Homecoming. And I'm not sorry, and it hasn't changed. But I did like No Way Home. And this movie looks pretty neat. So, but I will not deny the BBC, like the most anticipated movie of the year has to be The Odyssey. It is, like, unquestionably, like more than Doomsday, more than, and I know Jeremy was a little, and I was a little surprised about it too, but if you think about it, it's like, no, this is Nolan adapting one of the first stories that we know about. I mean, it's no Gilgamesh, but you know, the basis for all storytelling, and it's the first time it's been adapted into a big budget film. It's the biggest director. It's coming out in the middle of summer, and yeah, it should be and it's an old timey Hollywood epic that we just don't get anymore. So yes, it should be the most anticipated movie of the year. It's certainly the one I'm the most curious about. And yes, Metatron will be on with us on Friday Night Tides, probably just screaming Nolan in his Sicilian accent. God bless Metatron, by the way. He just made 5 Nolan videos while I was talking about Nolan. That Sicilian rascal. I almost called him Italian. That might be an insult. Pretty sure he's Sicilian. I've been to Sicily. It's amazing. It's an amazing country. They drive on the right side of the road, for one. That's good. And the food's pretty good. Some people think Odyssey will flop. I do not think it's going to flop. I do not think it's going to flop. It would shock me if it flopped. But if it does flop, then feel free to give me all the shit you want. Okay? Feel free. Call me out.
Nerderotic.com. Please subscribe.